Good morning. A tad late today, but that's, I've told you before. I do have other things to do. I was paying bills and stuff this morning, so I was a little busier. I'm also keeping an eye on some stocks that I don't have, or just watching, like Tesla and Trump Enterprises. They're going down the tubes. That's always a good. I don't feel good about it because some people could lose their jobs, and what about that? But I just think it's karma. I really don't understand. I guess I really can't see tariffs. I don't understand that. Trade wars. That doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're going to reduce prices, not add to the cost of living. I don't understand what exactly it is he's doing over there. Or if he even knows. He's looking to make money. He's looking to make this tax cut, and that'll keep his constituents, the rich people that are supporting him, happy. When he says, he does everything for money. That's why, he says, I might be running for a third term. So he can have a super PAC, and he can use that to pay all his legal bills and, buy his McDonald's hamburgers and stuff like that. Because McDonald's is going to get expensive. I went to my regular hamburger restaurant yesterday, and I spent $10 a hamburger. To me, that's an outrageous amount of money but I got big order of French fries and stuff with it, so onion rings and everything. So it was all right. I don't mind, I don't mind paying a little bit more for good food, and it was excellent food. When you charge me money for something and it's either defective or it's tastes horrible, don't expect to see me again. Even if you're the only place on the planet that sells that particular product or that particular style hamburger or whatever, I'm leaving. So this is what I don't understand about tariffs. Now, one point that I do understand that he could care less about the increases in prices for food and groceries and whatnot, and he's a terrible person. And this is just part of his plan, I guess. I don't know, to make life miserable for all Americans and just keep the rich people happy, and he'll be all right with that. I don't see that happen. Like I said yesterday, there's a thing called disparity between the rich and poor. And the last time it got to be totally extreme, we had the French Revolution. And that's when Marie Antoinette said, I could care less, and I posted it on my video yesterday. Yeah, Antoinette basically said, let them eat cake, which was basically saying the same thing Trump said, I could care less. And look what happened to her. Headless corpse. They actually invented a machine just to kill her. And whoever the king, I forget the king's name at the time. But that's royalty. Okay, it doesn't mean that you can't see something horrible happen to Donald Trump. I mean, it's just, this is life in the real world, folks. He's a horrible person. He's doing horrible things to people, and that's just the way it is. I don't know what to tell you. We're seeing the effect down here. Price increases constantly. Now they're going to start tariffs on coffee. Well, my opinion about that is that this country's coffee, good coffee, should be cheaper than it is. It's hard to get really, really good coffee down here. You can't just walk into the average Quick Check or something like that and get Folgers or something like that. You have to walk in and you get some crap that'll burn your intestines out in 2 years. It's horrible tasting. It's very bitter, and I guess that, but it's very popular, so I guess they like it. The good stuff that we drink, we can't get our hands on. So, that's the problem. What else can I tell you? You know, everybody thinks seems to think that this will straighten itself out. I don't know. The stock market's crashing. We're headed for possible recession, and he's playing golf. He don't care. People down here are starting to care. He's starting to make a lot of news down here, and not in a good way, which can make life tough for me walking around. But my friends are my friends down here, so hopefully. They know I don't like him. They know I put these videos up to point out bad things about him. But I wish I had besides boycotting stuff, I don't know whether you can, Canada had the right idea. They're boycotting American products. So what do? We boycott, you start boycotting Canadian products or French products. Down here you can't, because the stores are owned by a couple of major chains down here are owned by France. French companies. So food change I'm talking about. The American clothing change and whatnot, that's all right. You can walk into a store down here and get a pair of jeans as good as or better than what they sell in America. The problem is that they're overcharging you for it, and that's going to have to stop. There's a place I bought a lot of jeans at down in don't know where the town it's in, but anyhow, it's what they call an outlet. You walk in and they make them for you while you're there. So this is all what life is about. People have to become an educated shopper all over again, because the products that you're looking for, you can find at a more reasonable price. They're not going to be cheap anymore, I don't think, but you can find it at a more reasonable price than if you go out and you buy Tide. I think you can find something just as good at a lesser price and different name, not a name brand. So this is going to hurt the economy, and it's going to hurt manufacturers, major manufacturers, and I have no idea what's going to happen. It's a recession. I'm not sure exactly what a recession is or how it'll affect me down here, because I think it'll be a worldwide recession, not just in the United States. And the person you have to blame is sitting in the Oval Office. Well, probably not sitting in the Oval Office today. It's Friday. He's on his way to his golf course someplace, But the thing is, it's going to make his life a lot more miserable, because he's going to have to go under some very top security. He's not going to be able to walk around with this air of entitlement, without getting somebody trying to punch him in the face or something, or having riots outside his home. I don't know whether I have no idea what golf course he's going to play at. Mar-a-Lago is probably the better protected one than the one in New Jersey. The one in New Jersey is not that far from where my friends own their restaurant and where they live, and I don't want their neighborhood to get disturbed by riots and protests because of that prick. It's a sad state. You have tariffs you can't blame on Musk. You can blame layoffs on Musk, but you can't blame tariffs on Musk. I don't think even he knows what's going on there, But it's like, Trump wants to put all this stuff on Americans and say, well, we're going to get everything cheaper. They stopped manufacturing parts and stuff for cars and whatnot because it was cheaper to do in another country. But also because other restrictions that were placed upon these companies to manufacture certain things for cars. And the cars aren't made in America. Cars aren't made in America. They're assembled in America. But it's like 70% of the cars made someplace else. Parts are made someplace else. This is going to put a huge increase into you're talking thousands of dollars more. You know, you get a discount to bring it back down to today's list price, you know. It's Tesla's suffering. I don't know what the deal is with electric cars, because if you have an electric car, you have to have a charging station someplace. You can't drive an electric car across the country, I don't think, very conveniently or economically. And I've driven across the country 3 or 4 times, and believe me, if you get a chance to do it, because it's a beautiful country, and it may not be there that much longer. So I know it's Friday and I'm depressed. What can I tell you? That's just good old Donald. You know, he's got that shit-eating grin on his face, and he's on the golf course cheating, which is the only way he can win against most of the people that he plays against. You know, he's going to come in and say, I beat Tiger Woods this weekend. With what? A gun? A stick? He didn't beat him with a golf club, that's for sure. All right. So while we're talking here, I do want you to please go down to the bottom of the page underneath the video and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button or hit the dislike button. You know, hitting the dislike button at least lets me know that you watched the video, you know, because I don't know whether the view count is right sometimes, because whether that takes into effect the people that I know, you know, my friends and whatnot, when they view that, you know. Most of my friends don't care about politics. Economics don't bother them. I got a lot of people in America I'd like to talk to right now and see how their political beliefs are going. They're still loyal. If they're wealthy, they're still loyal. If they're broke, if they're an average person, they can't be loyal to Trump. You know, it's just that's the way it is. So, but as for you people, let me know what you think. You can comment, I think, on the bottom of my page. I don't know. I never tried that. But you can definitely like, dislike, or subscribe. And I would appreciate it if you subscribed. Then pop the like button every once in a while. And just let me know that you're thinking that it's not that bad a deal to listen to me sit here and ramble on, you know. This is how I get to talk to people, you know. My Spanish is horrible, so I don't get to talk to a lot of the people down here. But most of the people I know come to me to try and learn English, which is like, you know, maybe not the smartest way to learn English in the world, but I have no problem sitting around and trying to help them. That's what I do. I help people when I can. Can't always do that, you know. Some people take advantage of that sometimes, I think, too. When you go out and you try to help somebody. All right, I think that's it for me today. I'm rambling more than usual. If you notice, I try to keep these around 15 minutes because I figure that's about as long as I can keep my mind in one track or another, you know, or at least 2 or 3 tracks instead of 100. So, all right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be back. Have a good day.